All right, citizens, one and all, welcome back. Back with my buddy Marcus. How's it going, Marcus?
Good, good.
So, in the last one, we left off with talking about the world bosses that we went to. So, what occurred was Steven was on the server just testing some things, hanging out, and he summoned everybody in the server to his location, which was right by the world boss fights. So, they were doing this for two reasons. One, to test like a larger group setting, because they do have aspirations to have, 500 person, 1,000 person battles eventually. So we did that. We all got there. It was very laggy, and I'm not sure if the lag was from all the entities like rendering it at the same time, or if it was just too many people in the area itself. But either way, we all ran off and fought the world bosses. I think they did some kind of kill command on the first one because it kind of just insta died. Then the second one, everybody kind of just fought and shot for a while. It wasn't really doing its mechanics or phases, and I was desynced, so I wasn't doing any damage at all. But Marcus, what about you?
It seemed like maybe every fifth shot actually landed.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. But after that, and I guess we all hit it for 5 or 10 minutes. It was pretty cool either way. I'm looking at the world boss stuff, and I'm not really seeing anything yet. Like there's dungeon bosses, there's raid bosses, regional slash world bosses, and legendary world bosses. It Who Sunders the Sky is one of them. Then there were some dragons or something, like not stuff I saw. The names too, unfortunately. I'm like at some stuff. Here we go. This is one of the dragons. I don't think this is one of the ones we fought, but it was definitely had a very similar skin. So okay, so after that, he then teleported us all to a more central location on the map, which was good because what they had done was there were 3 nodes that had gotten like level 1 or 2, and let's go to the nodes now. Like they had gotten like expedition or encampment statuses. And what they did was the devs went ahead and upgraded these to village status, which allowed them to be having the ability to have a lot of things built in them. So one, that unlocked houses, so you could buy a house if you had the gold. That unlocked a lot of buildings to be built, including the stable. So then if you were in that level 3 village node, you were able to use, your gold to buy a mount, which was cool. And Marcus, you bought a mount, but I foolishly bought the intermediate level fishing pole, and then I never found an intermediate node to fish on because we went across the map. But we'll get back to that eventually. What did you think of the town itself, Marcus?
It was. I tell you what. I don't know if they power leveled it where it got. They must have leveled it up faster, just for the alpha testing. I thought it looked very, very good. Like the graphics in the game are excellent. I mean, just at an alpha stage, it almost looked like that town that we got ported to was like elven architecture.
Yeah, it was very, very cool work looking for sure. And I'm playing the little video on screen right now, the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 stuff. So it was cool. It had a very cool architecture. It had walls that appeared with it, and it was just really neat. I really liked the town aspect. We even found a house for sale that was 1,000 gold. So that would have, if we had bought the house, it would have given us citizenship, or it would have given me, depending on who bought it, would have given me citizenship to that node specifically. So then that would unlock different things for me to be able to do, like vote for the mayor, um, pay more specific taxes, a few other things. I'm not even sure what, but very, very cool. I'm not even sure how many houses are in the node initially. I think it says it somewhere. Let me read through here. But no, either way, very cool. And what it did do as well is it unlocked a lot of things around that node. So, for example, there were a lot more gathering locations, like fishing spots, like things to mine, herbalism things. Like it unlocked a lot of stuff. It became a very rich area in resources. And that is by design. You level up that node past, just the wild or wildlands or whatever you want to call it, and get it to a point where it's then an expedition and then an encampment and then a village that unlocks more and more and more resources in the area. So it was very cool to see that, and that's why I did buy the intermediate fishing pole, because there were a lot of intermediate nodes to fish on. But then we got distracted because we discovered the ferry. We went across the ocean. So let's talk about that. We went to a whole new area There were a lot of pirates there to fight and kill. There was actually a node in the center of this area that we went to. Let me see if I can find the map. Alpha map, and I'll point out where we were. Alpha 1 testing zone? Alpha Island? Yeah, I think that's where we were. Yep, here it is. I'm looking at the map now. So we had come to this area up here, so we had taken the portal or the ferry from here to here, and this is the village that we were at for the bulk of the time. I got no clue what it's called. So then we were around here, we were exploring this area right here, and I could tell based on where this guy is, he was working on the treasure too that we talked about in the last episode. So we were here for a little bit, and that's a node, and we eventually wandered all the way up to here, and this is where we spent 2 or 3 hours messing around with this, but we'll get into that later. What did you think after we went across the ferry, though, Marcus? Like the enemies changed, a lot of things changed. The land looked different. It went from more like foresty slash plainsy to like tropical, didn't it?
Yeah, the trees changed a little bit. It was more like, yeah, like almost like island theme.
Yeah,
So now we had uh, a boat wrecked on the side where that's where we found where you found the treasure map. Um, what I found quite comical was leave it to you that we only have 5 hours to play, and instead of just buying the regular fishing pole, you had to buy the intermediate one.
yeah, I know, and I really want to test out that crafting system a bit further. And on back to that, it seemed like for the phase we were in, and I had seen these comments in a few places that most of the stuff that we could craft, it was just not working correctly. It probably wasn't even turned on. Maybe they just wanted to see how it works. So we really didn't have anything craftable, but you were able to craft something. What had you crafted again?
I crafted a longsword. One of the quests that you were to get, I think you got a quest too, but since you were a mage, Um, I think yours was for a wand, mine was
Yeah,
for a longsword. I was finally able to figure out the crafting system definitely needs work, but it doesn't even look like it's near complete yet.
right,
Um, but then all of a sudden, I think what happened was I crashed and I lost it. It was no longer in my inventory, and
man.
neither were the resources either. So I had to go get more to make it.
And eventually, I had seen later on in the Discord that these systems weren't necessarily working correctly, like the crafting and stuff. But I eventually noticed as well on some of the vendors in that level 3 town, there were better items to buy. It just costed like, 50, 75 gold per item. So we could have spent a lot of time just killing things and then cashed all that in and bought the best gear in slot for that phase of alpha. So we'll focus on doing that next time. But we're going to wrap this part up here. In the next part, we're going to talk about the node. We're going to give a few critiques to what we thought on the node system and a few interactions we had within the Discord and just we'll cover it in detail. So we'll see y'all in part 3.